Aloha and welcome in. Thank you for being here. I am Kapualani, and this is your timeless collective reading here. So, we're going to go ahead and open up the space with some sound healing, sound clearing. So, if you'd like to connect to your breath, focusing on taking some nice deep inhalations and exhalations, just any goals or intentions that you'd like to set, you can go ahead and do that now. All right. So, as we jump in to this month of July, I just want to say that, just intuitively, energetically, I have been very present to the kind of like transformational energies. There's definitely something that is, I don't want to say churning, but it's almost like if you have a garden, it's like a tilling of the soil so that we can aerate it, right, and really kind of bring some life, aliveness to that underbelly. And it's time, for that shift. We had a very powerful new moon. um, so let's dive in. Let's see, Spirit, what the message is for us this week, whenever you should be seeing this. All right, we've got King of Cups energy. I hope that the lighting on this is coming through okay as well. And I apologize if it's a little dim. Obviously, I'm kind of working in a new space at the moment, but I hope that's okay. But anyway, now that you have a choice. So the King of Cups here, we've got this air of, I don't know why, the first thing that I heard was like responsibility, feeling very confident in your emotional core and in maybe even in what you want. And maybe that's part of what this is calling for, is for you to have, and I just saw 222 on the timer, but calling for you to have some confidence in terms of following your heart, listening to your heart, not being afraid to say what's on your heart, and again, to go after it, to pursue it. We've got the King of Swords following the King of Cups. So, two kings here. There may be significant discussions, meetings. I feel like, I don't know why, but there's a lot of this feeling of responsibility in terms of showing up and showing out, is what I'm picking up on here. I feel like communications are going to be very important. So pay attention to not just how you are coming across or addressing a situation, how you are, I don't know why, but the word translating is coming through as well. There's information that I feel like, okay, sorry about that. Spirits, like, you're just, it's gonna be a lot of confidence that's coming through, or you're regaining a sense of confidence. You're regaining this foothold, about forward momentum, forward movement. And we got this Three of Wands at the bottom of the deck. So it's really calling for like this, not being afraid to take action, even if you are in the beginning phases of certain cycles, or just aspects of your life, whatever that may be. But in this case, I feel like there's something about the heart and the mind that are merging and that are unifying here. We're getting on the same page. And this could be yourself and another person. This could just be your own core aspects. Now, with the water, I want to just address the signs, the zodiacs that are associated with these energies. But of course, water, we got Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. With swords, of course, the air signs, so Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. But what are these kings here to express, here to share? A Page of Wands. So there may be a lot of interaction actually this week, new experiences, seeing things from a new perspective. Perhaps that's part of the responsibility. For some, it may involve, I did mention communications. I was gonna, yeah, house and home. there could be something along the lines of family dynamic and or preparation for the bigger picture in terms of your future and laying foundations for the future, looking at your life and how far you've come, with a new perspective. There's going to be a sense of excitement, a sense of I don't know, the word zeal is coming to mind for some reason, where we um how should I put this? There may be a new project or a new cycle, some form of a new beginning presenting itself in terms of how you go about making something happen, maybe how you make money in the future, perhaps because there are things that you already excel in. And now it's like, with this potential new beginning or new cycle, as I was saying, it could have some sort of relationship to, again, just the bigger picture, creating generational wealth, locking that in, looking at a new way to generate income. For that's just coming through again. This 10 of Pentacles is telling me to take the moment. You have, for whatever reason, I'm hearing that even if things are not flowing in a way that you would like for it to, you still have an upper hand here. You still have the upper hand. You're not delayed. You're not set back. There's no need to worry or panic. I don't know. Somebody needs to hear that message. Maybe you're like, oh, I'm good, but for whatever reason, I'm just getting that because this is just saying that it's preparation for just something like a new. I feel like something new is kicking off, and again, it relates to foundations for the future, security for the future. There may be enough, like, just the choices and decisions that you're making right now are going to have an impact on your bigger picture in the years to come, is the message. Okay, so I just want to validate, clarify that message, Spirit. You can do that for us. Thank you. Yeah, look, we got that Three of Wands again that we saw earlier. So thank you, Spirit. I feel like that's very much validating. You're encouraged to continue on with the direction that you're heading in, with the actions that you've already been taking. So stay inspired. When we see the Three of Wands, first of all, three is an energy of time. It can relate to past, present, and future. So really, there are things, again, there's a merging that's happening. Yes, where there's a nice sort of turning over a new leaf is another message that I'm getting. I'm just have this feeling again of excitement, this spark, a creative spark of imagination or energy, a creative spark of energy coming through to revitalize your confidence, when it does come to, even with relationships, okay, solidifying connections and relationships, whether they're familial, communal, if it's in the workplace, it could extend to various areas. But again, this is a very nice optimistic energy. And even though this one didn't pop out, I just want to take a quick peek. I'm just getting called to pull this card. I don't know about you, but the Nine of Wands, yeah. So underneath it all, you might be feeling a little bit exhausted, run down, tired. But the Nine of Wands also encourages you not to give up, but to push through, and to, maybe just take a moment to breathe, to pause, take a beat, to really reflect upon how you arrived to this point, and knowing like that new beginning is right around the corner, and you have the skills, you have the know-how. I mean, this is, you know, traditionally in the Nine of Wands, we have an individual who's got a bandage around their head and they sort of like, woo, look a little bit, pooped out, PO'd out, not pissed off, but pooped out. But in this case, it almost looks like another king, that's just sort of holding the line, and does look a little bit exhausted. Look at his face there with that expression. And but again, I'm just getting a balance of the yin and the yang. It's a sign to not give up, that you are, yes, there's this overlap of, I'm hearing it again, tilling the soil, where we are, we're closing out, we're getting ready to close out, because nine is endings, right? Transformation is nine, okay, in so many ways. And we are, getting ready to close out a cycle. But as we know, when we hit 10, it's endings and beginnings with that 10 of Pentacles. So stay excited, okay? Stay inspired. The Three of Wands, it gives us that phrase, right? That's associated with the Three of Wands. The ships are coming in. So your ships are coming in. And in fact, I feel like, I don't know why, but I'm hearing the phrase sitting pretty. There's room for I don't know, maybe not so much celebration. That could be a possibility. There could be something to celebrate: connections, relationships, anniversaries, potentially a birthday. I wouldn't always say that, but I'm just getting this real nice emphasis and focus with the Ten of Pentacles, and the couple with the family, the family connection here. And there may be some kind of a new arrival coming in, new experiences coming in. Five of Pentacles, be let me see here. Okay, I'm gonna take I'm shifting back. I'm like, oh my gosh, Spirit was. I hope I was on the right track with all of that. But yeah, this Five of Pentacles, you're not done. There are certain things that are not yet over. Let me feel, hold on, let me just kind of see, what is this Five of Pentacles? Can we connect and get a little bit of deeper insight here, Spirit, please, for this Five of Pentacles? Almost, I would have been the Fool energy, so there's that new beginnings. So okay, even with these new perspectives, new beginnings, and the confidence that you may have, it's still a matter of having to, how should I put this? Even though new beginnings can be exciting, and even though these cards are pretty optimistic, again with these kings there is a balance. And so part of what I'm getting here is, even for whatever reason you may be guided, spirit may be kind of just hinting at watching your money, minding your involvement in something, because of this physical energy of the pentacles, aside from the money aspect, right? If it's about, just because you have that money and that comfort to a degree, doesn't mean that you should just go out and spend without thinking. Look at the road ahead, but pace yourself, because we got to just reflect back to that Nine of Wands energy of maybe feeling a little bit run down and exhausted. Five of Pentacles, sometimes it's, that there could be this aspect of you perhaps also that feels like you're on the outside looking in, the inside looking out, when it comes to your bigger, greater vision, or your, like, what it is that you're wanting to manifest and co-create. And so that's where I feel like I'm hearing the word respite, and again, just be mindful of not overspending. Okay. Knight of Wands. And this is very nice how we have this transition from the Prince of Wands to the Knight of Wands. So I feel like what I'm seeing here with this transition, a page, the Page of Wands to this Knight of Wands, or the Prince to the Knight. I get this feeling because we've got these two kings with the cups and the swords here. Fire is action oriented, spirit oriented, creative energy oriented. And so you will pick up the pace. Your stamina is going to return, your sense, like a zest for life, again that word zeal, it's going to be building. You may feel like, okay, one moment you get this kind of bright flash of inspiration and you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds great, but maybe on a practical level you're not quite in a position to do anything about it, whether it's financially or whether it's physically, for whatever reason. Like maybe you have other things on your plate that you need to pay attention to, and that your responsibilities are calling for you to stay steady and again, just mindful about, rather. And so even though there may be a desire and a willingness to take an action, you're not quite at that space yet where you can really hold on to, see the vision, and know what to do or how to apply yourself when it comes to taking that action, to making the vision, turning that into a reality, rather. So there's something that's building here with momentum, something that's building here with a vision, but you do have support. You are supported. There is a supportive and solid foundation for you to build upon. But again, that's where it's about that mindfulness. You might be very much, again, willing and, just fired up and ready to go. But again, on a physical level, like, it could just be, maybe, like, let's not overshoot ourselves. Like, sometimes we get that sort of, like I said, like a second wind, what they say. And or there's that other phrase, making your eyes bigger than your stomach. So you're like, oh yeah, yeah, I think I can manage that. And then you go out, and it's a little bit more than what you may have actually been prepared for, or it may be a little bit more that is, you know what I mean, it takes a little bit more energy. Or it's kind of like the example that I'm getting from spirit right now is like going hiking on a trail, or going for a walk, you know what I mean, and you really want to go outside and nature. It's a really beautiful day. Maybe you have it, you're not too bad, you're not completely out of shape, but when you get on the trail, you're feeling good, and then after, not even 5-10 minutes, you start to feel a little winded. It's like, ooh, I don't know, like, you don't want to turn around and go back just yet, because you just started out. It took you half an hour just to leave the house, putting on the right outfit and shoes and da da da, and pulling up your hair if you have hair to pull up. But it's just that sort of an energy, that you may be willing but not yet fully able. And I don't want you to feel deterred by it at all. And I'm just being drawn to this Phoenix energy because, again, that word transformation. You are building up your skill set, you're building up your stamina, you're building up your sense of self confidence in this skill set, whatever it is. So let's kind of touch back on that a little bit. Maybe there's this part of you, again, on an emotional level, on a mental level. So the mind and the heart are finally communicating and syncing up when it comes to how we apply those energies. The mind, the desire from the soul, and then that ability to strategize and plan and whatnot. There's a part of us that understands, like, okay, yeah, I'm really excited to go out and do this, but I still have some responsibilities to tend to, and I'm not quite, like, I haven't, while I may be well versed and I may be even an expert or professional at these things, again, heart and mind, on an action based level, on a creative based level, on a life force level. Yeah, I have the excitement, I have the curiosity, I have I'm in a safe space to explore. You're in a safe space to explore. So spirit's encouraging the exploration, and know your limits, know your limits, know your boundaries. I had, someone kind of say that to me once when I worked in the music industry. My sister was like, you gotta know your limits, know your boundaries. I'm like, oh, that's so wise. I said, and um but anyway, that's kind of the idea that we have here, is that you're not being discouraged from taking a chance or stepping out. You're being encouraged to explore, you're being encouraged to adventure, and you're reminded, don't overdo it, know your limits and boundaries. Okay, so that all being said, I just want to remind us that there will be a part 2 to this reading. So if you have really been drawn in to the messages here, I encourage you to check out part 2. It's very little to no risk. Starts off at $1.11 at kapualani.com/extensions for those who are new. But I'm going to be, not only doing another layer of these cards to go deeper into the reading. In a moment here, we're going to be pulling from my animal spirit deck to get our animal spirit guide, and I'll be giving a bit of my insights here. Then we're going to read from the book version in part 2. We're also going to be addressing some yes no questions with my angel answers, as well as addressing the romance angels. And I always say this, so I'm just going to say it now. If you have any kind of question in regards to whatever it is that you may be passionate about, that's what we're going to explore with the romance angels. Okay, so let's see what Animal Spirit Guide wants to speak with us now. So Animal Spirit Guide, what is our message here? Who is our animal? Right away, we've got Tiger. Okay, interesting. I just heard Hunter. Okay, so with this tiger energy, I feel like there is this, I don't know why, but I'm hearing this energy of being both low key but very much, I don't know why, it's like eye on the prize, fixating on your, just that goal, a target, a goal of what it is that you're going after. And again, pacing yourself when it comes to your approach. I feel like there's something about the way that you approach a situation, a person, your goals. I feel like there's something about conservation of your energy when I look at tigers, because tigers, they're like these massive cats, right? They're big cats. And while they're very, very powerful, and I said that stamina that's building, we've got that fire, right? They're not just going to be running like a cheetah. You know what I mean? They have some power, and they can really, wield that power. And part of it, again, limits and boundaries. You may be very powerful in certain areas or aspects, even feeling empowered. And part of it, when I see that Five of Pentacles, and I'm getting this message here now with Tiger, aside from the, know your limits and boundaries, is focus on what you're good at, focus on your strengths. And that's not to say that you shouldn't again explore adventure. But when it comes to really um how or where you invest your energy at this time in this moment, right? It's sort of saying like right now, just kind of stick with the familiar for now, and build your way, build things up again. Okay, build things up. Sure, be curious and whatnot. But again, I don't know why I'm just getting this message. It's not necessarily the tiger energy, but it's like don't overspend, mind your money, just for now, especially if there are some new ventures that you are wanting to get into, like, you know what I mean, like with these new beginnings, new cycles, new possibilities that you're going to be exploring. And again, I feel like this is again, new ways of making money, or it could be even just a new project, um, in something that you have some experience in. But I am going to wrap up here. And again, I remind you to check out kapualani.com/extensions for part two. And if you'd like to schedule a session with me, I do offer live and pre recorded sessions at kapualani.com. But I will see you next time. I'll see you in part two. Thank you so much for being here.